You know, on YouTube, everybody's talking about, this the best perk in the game.
See, I didn't know I came here to be disrespectful.
What are some perks that you think are bad? I think perks are very situational for every situation in multiverses. However, I will tell you, there are some perks that might not be doing anything for you, and you might just be equipping the perks just to equip some perks. I think multiverses got some really like, why though perks? Why use this over that? And they could bump them and change them in the future, but I do think some perks might be just completely whack right now. Or maybe to my playstyle, they may not be the best. Disclaimer, this is what I think is my personal opinion on what are some of the weakest or useless perks as of right now. However, every character is different and everybody are gonna have different uses for their playstyle of some of these perks. So let's start off with offensive perks. Which ones do I think suck as of now? And to be honest with you, I don't think any of these perks are really bad. There's a reward for the battle pass to win matches without any perks. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can still win without perks. Perks ain't end all be all, but it does help support your characters in the weaker departments. I'm also going to assume with multiverses, as time progresses and things change, that there will be more perks added to the game. Characters do get unique perks every time they're added as well. So the first perk that I think suck in offense for my taste would be That's Flammable Dog. And literally, That's Flammable Dog is for 3 seconds after knocking back an enemy with a projectile, your team can melee attacks the enemy to ignite them for 1 second. And I think ignite adds probably like 1 or 2 damage, so it can stack. That's not why it's bad. However, if you have characters that can put things down on the screen, or they have perks to where if they do something, for example, Iron Giant's thrusters, he adds flame to this, just a huge thing of ignite on the ground. If you do a no-look pass with LeBron with his perk on, he can ignite and stuff. So a lot of characters I personally play, this is kind of whack. I think it's kind of weak. I just don't see no purpose of it if you have characters that can just do ignite with some perk or ability themselves, or if your teammate doesn't have anything, or you period have anything for That's Flammable Doc to be good for you. And then if you stack the perk, right, it says ignite enemies for 2 seconds if your ally also selects this perk. So I can't get like 4 seconds or something like that. Like, I can't get that out here. They won't give me that. Like, I don't know. I think it's mid. Now, I think this perk is good in 2v2s. In 1v1, I think this perk sucks. I think it sucks unless you got them in a combo that they just not Dion or dodging out of. In 2v2s, characters with projectiles, Superman could just freeze them. I think in 1v1, this is like super useless. Like, I just think it's just like, no. Like, unless you're comboing with ice, and the only character that I know that has ice for a long period of time of just can move with it would be Superman. Other than that, this perk is kind of whack to me in my honest opinion. Someone would argue in multiverses that a lot of perks that just add on additional damage can be useless. However, in some instances, these damage on these buffs could be the difference between you running around and keeping up. At the end of the day, you are sharing stocks. This is not like Smash. Deadshot, this one's OD. This is an OD perk. Your team deals 5 increased damage with projectiles, and then if they stack it, your teammate has it, you get 10 plus. Batman cooking. The next perk I think sucks in multiverses is collateral damage. And hear me out, right? Hear your boy out. This perk is really gonna be good if you're comboing them with down specials or down attacks, make them bounce off the ground. This is probably only very situational in my personal opinion because of the Scooby-Doo stage. Collateral damage. Your team deals 1 additional damage when knockback enemies collide with a wall or floor. Like 1 damage, okay. I mean, a lot of maps in the game, you're not gonna be bouncing off walls like that. Well, I can't say it's the worst perk, but it's like 1 or 2 damage. It's like, it ain't really doing nothing. Like, compared to some of these other perks that are like 5 to 10 damage that can put somebody into kill range off of a projectile, this one just feels like one of the worst that has additional damage in my personal opinion. It could be good if you're cooking somebody. Like, for Iron Giant, I would turn this on. Because if I'm Batman, I'm doing the spike attack where he does a double kick down. I'm doing that a lot to make sure I can snack as much damage as soon as possible. I can see that being good. This might be my last offensive perk that I think is kind of whack, and can be good and bad in your favor, right? I think it's better if stacked. All right, so that's not all, folks. Ringing out enemies while near the blast zone pushes the attacker back towards the center of the map. Now, if you guys know, hot take, I think Bugs Bunny is the best character in the game right now. You know the move where he swings with the bat? That move has like a whole 360. That move is really good, right? Let me give you a scenario, and this has happened to me before. I don't have it recorded, but I'll give you the best scenario. So you're Batman, there's a Finn that you're about to KO, there's a Bugs Bunny right under you, right? And it doesn't give you invincibility or anything like that. That's what the game says. But when you ring out enemies, freaking Bugs Bunny could get over there and knock me back up in the stage, and it just puts me in like a set trajectory. Like, it's very noticeable. Very noticeable in a lot of situations. It's why I believe the hardest thing about Multiversus is balancing the perks and the characters. That's gonna be like the craziest thing. I know the devs be going through it thinking about this game. So that's all I think is probably some of the worst perks in offensive. Next would probably be defensive. So defensive, all of these can be good in some way, shape, or form. I think the worst perk in defense, honest to God truth, I think it just doesn't matter at a certain point anyway, is tune elasticity. All right, you know what word it is. All right, elasticity. Look, the tune elasticity. Your team receives a 20% reduction for ground and wall bounce velocity. So like, this is cool because 25%. All right, I can understand if y'all stacking it. But this one right here, like if you're at like 100% and somebody probably goes down and spikes you down, you still probably go back up really fast, and you probably not gonna be able to react to it unless you're just thinking about it beforehand. Rollback situations and stuff like that, having this on really ain't gonna do nothing for you, at least while you on the stage. Cause I've definitely seen people stack this and I'm like, oh, they're at 80, double spike down with Batman, and 80, 90, they still die. It doesn't help them like live longer. This perk is only very situational right now because of the Chromulus map, the Rick and Morty stage, and the Scooby-Doo map, and maybe even like Batman in some instances. So I guess it's alright, but I think the worst perk out of all of these would probably be Tune Elastic. Okay, I was gonna say Elastic City. Tune elasticity. Elasticity. Here's a perk that might be controversial, because some people either think it's good or think it's really bad. I personally am indifferent on this one. Let's talk about back-to-back. Your team receives 6% reduced damage when near an ally. So this perk is cool if you have a very aggressive rushdown playstyle with your teammates. Essentially, like if I'm playing somebody, I guess if I think of two characters on my head, like Arya and Finn, right? This might be very beneficial in those situations simply because you can straight up capitalize off of this. In a lot of situations, and depending on the map, you getting hit away, people bouncing off and stuff like that, like you're going to be far away from each other. Especially like, for example, with me, Batman, I usually try to stop all oppressive moves. Like before the nerf Taz's tornado, I would pick Batman because the Batarang stopped it. Or if I'm playing Velma, just to get, you know, help the teammate with the boost and help them go in while I'm healing them, or even giving them the, I don't even know what it's called. I just call it the laser line, the yellow thing she does. And I'm on the other side of the screen. So this may be one of the more weaker perks in the game, but I can see it being utilized as being a good perk. Now, utility. All right. Utility perks might actually be some of the more well-rounded. Might even be, personally in my opinion, a little bit better than defense overall, but I feel like you could use some of these for any situation in Multiverses. But I think the worst perk, in my personal opinion, in Multiverses for utility has to go to Leg Day Champ. Your team receives 10% increased jump height. I'm gonna be real with you, Chief. I do not want this. Hear me out. So with Iron Giant, I have even done it a couple times playing them early on, where like I'm holding the A button and I kill myself because I just got hit last. I don't want to have that happen sooner. You gotta be crazy. And in most of the cases in the game, like you gonna act like you're not gonna be able to just get up and hit people anyway, right? Like if I'm yoinkity sploinking with Finn, right, that backpack gonna go brr, it's gonna hit you. It's regardless of that, he getting up there. He can get up there. Finn with the air dodging too, hello, he can get all the way up there if he want to. And a lot of the moves anyway, you don't even need to be that high for jump height. In theory, this is only good for recovering with some characters that just don't have good recoveries. I can see, for example, like LeBron using this perk because it just gives him like more height to get back to the stage, or Arya without the knife. I can see it being good in those regards. But overall, this just seemed like giving yourself an L. So yeah, that being said, I think perks and multiverses can be used for every situation. There's scenarios that they're good, there's scenarios that they're really bad in. I'm gonna try to put up stuff on the screen to see it, but that might be going through like hours of footage and shuffling, so who knows. But I will say, like, multiverses is hilarious. Well, thank y'all for stopping by for today's little discussion about perks. Is there any you disagree? Is any you think are better? Let your boy know in the comments down below. We could talk about it. Again, this is just like my thoughts so far on some of the perks. Give them my thoughts off. And if I'm wrong, right? Like, I'm learning from y'all. So that's good at the end of the day. But
I've been the devil, I need me a arc in the heart of my breathing, I feel like Tanjiro. Walking this bitch with a sound to while she rock it, I keep me a domino. Bitch, I'm a dip and I feel like Kazaki, stretching that pussy out like it's Pilates. I'm snatching the soul like right out of a body. Fire was spitting, I feel like Dobby. White bitch, blonde hair, looking like Lucy. She from Kyoshi, I paint her face Suki.